I'm going to read some passages from Healing Sex. This is a somatic-based therapy book for CSA survivors. Also, I'll just say I don't like or get excited about somatic work. I actually feel an aversion to it. I think I probably qualify as having alexithymia. My instinct is to say, not my friend. But I actually think it will be my friend. I think the fact that I feel such an aversion to it and that it is so hard for me means there's a lot of healing to be found here. And as much as I still despise and where do you feel that in your body question that therapists like to ask, I absolutely have found meaningful healing in working on recognizing my emotions and how they show up in my body and getting more in tune with my body. Another book I'm reading, the one on structural dissociation, says that it's actually necessary for healing. Anyway, that's more than enough disclaimers. On to passages from chapter 1. Some motivations for healing will sustain you through the process better than others. Deciding to heal because you think you are bad or dirty or believe something is wrong with you won't necessarily serve your cause. Developing a positive motivation is more sustaining and will give you a vision to work towards. Many survivors want to heal to save their relationship or to please their partner. While sex is an important part of any intimate partnership, you need to develop motivations that are just for you. You do not need to have a sexual partner to be actively sexual, nor does sexual healing have to wait for a lover. Safety is complicated for survivors. During the abuse, your safety was out of your hands. If you could have done anything to make it stop, you would have. Really. The intelligent mistake that you, like most survivors, probably made as a kid was thinking that you had some control over your safety. You didn't. Children are manipulated, coerced, threatened, and forced into sexual abuse, sometimes under the guise of love. What's tricky is that now you need to develop a sense of safety to move on to your sexual healing. Without a sense of safety, you cannot engage your sexuality. What is safety? Most people think of safety as a feeling of being safe. While this is one way to judge safety, it is not always reliable. You can be safe in a situation and feel unsafe because you are dealing with an old aspect of your abuse, or because you are a trauma survivor, you may be in an unsafe situation and feel just fine. While feeling safe is important, it does not necessarily give you a reliable ground upon which to determine if you are safe or safe enough to proceed. What tells you that you are safe? When checking in on your safety in a given situation, consider the following questions. How do you feel in your body? Do you feel safe, scared, unsettled? Is your physical environment safe and free from violence and abuse? Meaning no one is hitting, kicking, punching, or pushing you. No one is calling you names, threatening you, or threatening anybody that you care about. Does your partner, lover, or friend consider your needs, your wants, and your desires as important and as relevant as his or her own? Can your partner, lover, or friend really meet your needs? Does he or she have the know-how, the tools, and the good intention? Do you have the power in this situation to act upon your own behalf, to take care of yourself fully? Are you making your own choices, not being pressured, pushed, or manipulated? Asking yourself these questions gives you a way to assess whether or not you are safe, even when you do not necessarily feel safe. Being safe and feeling comfortable are not the same thing. You might be able to answer the above questions in a way that lets you know you are safe, but still find that you feel afraid and uncomfortable. Sexual healing does not always feel safe. In fact, it can feel downright scary. Once your external safety has been handled, safety becomes an inside job. You can develop a sense of internal safety, a way of feeling in your body that lets you know you are okay and that everything is all right. This ability to relax or let down your guard is often what was so damaged through sexual abuse. Even when your relationships and the worlds you have built around you are safe, you may feel like you are never really safe. Most trauma survivors experience this feeling of low-level, insistent, persistent danger. To build an internal sense of safety, let's look to your body. What sensations do you feel there? Notice temperature, pressure, and movement. Notice sensation all over your body, front and back, inside and out, top and bottom? Do you feel warmth in your legs, cold feet, tension in your stomach, tingling inside of your head? Are you feeling blocked or rigid in your chest? Now look for a place in your body where you feel a sense of peace, strength, or well-being. Do you feel strength in the palm of your hands, a sense of well-being in your right hip? Where do you feel your body comfortably settling? A sense of openness or spaciousness? Look for the literal sensations. What are they? If you are unable to find a place in your body where you experience comfort, find something you like outside of your body. Think of your favorite animal, a beautiful color, a person you love, a place in nature, or something you love to do, like singing, skiing, or surfing. Notice what happens in your body. Does a smile come across your face? A feeling of warmth spread across your chest or your back? Maybe your hips relax and get warm. These sensations are the building blocks for your sense of internal well-being. You can call these your sensations of safety or pleasure, well-being, or resourcefulness. They are what we will use in building a strong internalized sense of safety. What's down this road anyway? Your sexual healing process will be affected by many factors, including the particular abuse that you experienced, who your perpetrators were, and what the quality of support available to you then and now. The information or misinformation you received about sex will also come into play. Your culture, class, and religious background will help frame the uniqueness of your journey. Your experiences of social bias and oppression also add to the mix. Expect to experience a gamut of emotions. Terror, rage, grief, and guilt will have their turns alongside new types of excitement, pleasure, and desire. Issues and emotions that you thought you had dealt with long ago may arise. At times, you may feel like you are going backward. Do not be discouraged. This is a normal part of the sexual healing process. Because you are now healing the very arena that you were abused, issues of boundaries, consent, dissociation, and triggers are necessarily a part of the work. Spots in healing. Along the way, you will have to grapple with some difficult contradictions. You may find that there are aspects of the abuse that were physically pleasurable to you. You may have come to orgasm during the abuse, or you may have loved the attention that you received. Your perpetrators may have deliberately turned you on. You are not bad, wrong, or to blame. Sexual and sensual response is normal and healthy. Your body and sexuality did not betray you, your perpetrator did. You may have engaged in non-consensual sex play with other children. Sometimes children who are being abused act out the abuse on other children or even pets. This may have been sexually arousing or erotic to you, and you may carry out feelings of guilt and shame. Facing each of these experiences is part of the healing and self-forgiveness required to free yourself. You may enjoy some sexual acts now that were perpetrated on you as a child and dislike others. You may be simultaneously attracted to and repulsed by certain fantasies related to your abuse. Your sexual desires, fantasies, and sexual responses are affected by the abuse that you suffered, as well as other personal, family, and social influences in your life. One of the most important factors in sexual healing is returning choice and consent to your sex life, allowing yourself to discover what you like and enjoy sexually, and mending the self-blame and guilt that so often permeate desire are both parts of the process of recovery. Support is essential to the healing process. Isolation plays a key role in childhood sexual abuse. Most children never tell what is happening to them, and many who do tell are not believed or given adequate support. Adult survivors tend to continue to live in isolation. Coming out of isolation means coming into relationships. This, in and of itself, is part of healing sexually. Gaining support in your sexual healing breaks a double taboo. You will be talking not only about childhood sexual abuse, but also about sex. While sex is overexposed in the media, we don't often sit and tell each other the truth about our sex lives. Most people, survivors or not, have healing to do in the area of sexuality. The upside of this is that most people are relieved to talk about sex and sexual healing once someone else raises the topic. They too are glad to explore what is so often left unexamined. Because most of the information available about sex in our society is negative and incomplete, it is likely that you are going to need to search out positive input about sex and your sexuality and your preferences. Everyone can benefit from sex-positive information about human sexuality, the diversity of sexual expression, human sexual anatomy, and sexual development. It is likely that your support people, including most trained therapists, will also need sex-positive information. The average physician receives less than 12 hours of sex education during his or her entire medical training. The average therapist, unless specializing in sexual dysfunction, receives less than 9 hours. By comparison, San Francisco Sex Information requires that potential hotline volunteers complete 56 hours of basic training in human sexuality. This is a thorough training and still barely begins to cover the information, experiences, and the dynamics of human sexuality. For the most part, sex-positive information is not institutionalized but must be sought out. A sex-positive, non-judgmental attitude will be your most valuable asset in sexual healing. Sex for survivors can be laden with contradictions, guilt, and self-blame. Because sex was used against you as an instrument of harm rather than of healing, it is important to learn about the positive and self-affirming expressions of sex. You need support for exploring your desires at the same time that you are discovering the contradictions in your sexuality. It helps to have friends, counselors, and other supporters who can handle your wildest fantasies right along with the worst pain of your sexual abuse. It can be very damaging to get negative judgments about your sexual exploring, and it can be profoundly healing to find encouragement and acceptance as you become more empowered sexually. While I wouldn't doubt that there are a lot of therapists who get very little training about sex positivity, I have had good luck with my personal therapists being really great and really accepting, including my therapist that was a former pastor. Like, he was a pastor for like 20 or 30 years, is still a Christian, and he's great. So I kind of just wanted to throw in that while there are like sex-focused therapists, of course, if you don't necessarily have to go to somebody who is like marketed as a sex therapist in order to find somebody who is really familiar with different difficulties that come up for CSA survivors, with difficulties within relationships, with the various issues that come up for CSA survivors, which of course can be like a whole wide range of things, but I get like endless acceptance and open-mindedness from my therapists. And neither of mine specialize in sexual trauma or in like sexual dysfunction, sexual whatever. Somatics, including your body and healing. My work is in somatics, an educational and transformational approach that assumes that the body, mind, and emotions are one interconnected biological system. You are not separate from your body. Rather, your body is revealed in and through your body all the time. Why take a somatic approach to healing sexually after childhood sexual abuse? Childhood sexual abuse literally touches your body, except when it doesn't. Non-physical CSA is a thing. I have videos on that. I get the point that this is making, but also don't feel like this only applies to you if your sexual abuse was physical. To leave your body out of the healing process can leave out what is potentially your surest path to well-being. Many survivors of childhood sexual abuse are dissociated or checked out from their bodies. Your body was a dangerous place as a child. Leaving your body then, or dissociating, was an intelligent move. Your memories or experience of the trauma are often still present or held in your body today. Many survivors stay out of their body and senses long after the danger has passed to avoid revisiting these stored experiences. This can be true for all kinds of trauma. Yet, your body is also you. It is the place in which you live and are alive. You connect and are in relationship with others from your body. You act in a world from your body. Your body is where the healing from trauma and the abuse happens. Your body is also where you experience sensual and sexual pleasure. To experience all of these pleasures, however, you must be in your body or embodied. Attending to the process of re-embodying is essential to sexual healing. I know it sounds strange, but building your tolerance for being in your body and experiencing physical pleasure is a central component of this healing. This is an intentional practice, especially in the beginning. After childhood sexual abuse, pleasure may be unfamiliar or uncomfortable to you. Knowing your boundaries and having the ability to consent is also an embodied experience. If you are dissociated during sex, it is very difficult to know if you want to stop or go further, or what sexual activities you want to consent to or invite. What I see in my work with survivors is that when they when they return to life in their body and their sensations, a type of self-generated healing begins to happen. It is as if the body is not only physically an immune system, but also an emotional and spiritual immune system or intelligence that orients towards health and balance. When you are dissociated from or ignore the body, this immune system does not function well. When the body is included, when the focus is on embodiment, the signs, signals, and functioning of this balancing system come into full swing. I have come to see the body, mind, and emotions as self-healing organisms when given the right conditions. Embodiment is one of these conditions. I encourage including a body-based or somatic component to one's healing. I have found it to be the most efficient way to process the abuse and release triggers. As you transform on the somatic level, the trauma is literally shifted and released, and you are able to live in present time instead of being trapped in history, rage, or depression. Somatics can help align your thinking, experience, and actions and bring a sense of internal congruence. That's chapter 1. I plan to go through the whole book, reading the parts that I find the most essential. Be sure to follow me if you want to see more. Also, I'm doing a collection from this book. This is part 2. I read some from the introduction. You can find that in my collections on my profile.